asking that much. Just now go, wind up monkey.
This is a test of the Carnival Personnel Emergency Podcast System. The podcasters in your area, in voluntary cooperation with state, local, and federal authorities, have developed the system to keep you informed in the event of an emergency. If this had been an actual podcast, the rambling you just heard would have been followed by official boos and hisses. This concludes our test of the Carnival Personnel Emergency Podcast System. This is only a test.
No, hold on.
Boo!
Hey, Joe, what did the triangle say to the circle?
I'm sorry. I think I'm in the wrong place. What is this?
We'll start again. I know it's been a while. We're a little rusty, but hey, Joe, what did the triangle say to the circle?
Oh, shut up. Just whatever. Yeah, what did triangle blah 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 blah. Yeah.
You're pointless.
Yeah.
And this is where you say, like the podcast. Anyways, all right, you'll get this one because we're as this dropped yesterday was the World Cup final, so sticking with that great theme. Hey, Joe, why was Cinderella so bad at football?
She only had one shoe on or something like that.
She kept running away from the ball.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
Now, if it wasn't, the World Cup final yesterday, I would have said, what did Cinderella say when she got to the ball? And the answer is, anyways, hello, everybody. Welcome to Carnival Personnel Podcast. This is Jacques.
Yeah, this is Biff. Why am I here?
Because Joe isn't. There was a text thread that somehow didn't get to Joe, which is really sad because he's really the one who loves doing this podcast the most.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We keep this going time after time. Now the Cyndi Lauper song's in my head. Both Biff and I are like, you know what? We have better things to do. And Joe's like, no, gentlemen, please keep this going. So it's a real tragedy that he isn't here, but we are here. And Biff, it has been a long time. I don't even think you made the last couple ones that we did before I came to your homeland.
It's been a while, like months and months.
And in that absence, at least we got to spend some time together, which was nice because I was out in like as I like to call it, the homeland, but in between, in between hand, since we did the anniversary podcast, and honestly, that was like June 8th, so that's like 6 weeks ago, but and that was just Joe and I, but
right.
In the time, I had Jessica Radish, a filmmaker in Los Angeles area. She's one of many people who I've started following their content because I really enjoyed her tips on filmmaking, her stories about filmmaking, the independent film world, which I kind of keep, track on. I reached out, said, "Hey, will you come on our stupid podcast?" She did, and she was phenomenal. She was fantastic. And then a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, maybe even a year ago, my friend Wayne Russell, who I do a lot of comedy with, he turned me on to this YouTuber. I think he's on YouTube or TikTok. I follow him on Instagram, a historian. And also the guy's IMDb page is 20 miles long. He was a regular the first season of one of the greatest shows ever, Married with Children. He's done maybe like 20 Tonight shows with Johnny Carson, a legit, actor, stand-up comedian, legendary guy, Rich Scheidler, came on the show. He actually was in Roseanne with Steve Martin, and the night before a scene where Steve Martin's in a bar and he has to riff on this one guy, come with like 50 zinger after singer after singer. He goes, "Hey, can come to the hotel room and help me rewrite this scene, which was all this guy, Rich. I mean, he dies a happy guy because he got to work with Steve Martin one-on-one.
Right.
And then Steve Martin, who's not a hugger, saw him on set the next day, hugged him. And then 10 minutes later, Rich realized Steve Martin had put a wad of cash in his pocket.
Oh, nice.
And he tried to thank Steve Martin for it, who profusely denied knowing what he was talking about. So yeah, in our absence from new podcast, absolutely two phenomenal guests. But the Rich one, look, Jessica was fantastic, but Rich is definitely in the top 5 podcast of all time. I was traveling last week, and so it was great. So Joe, I said, yeah, pick anything if you could post something for me, because I forgot to post something before I left. And he posted our tribute to Mel Brooks, which, dude, just hits 100. How could you have posted any other, episode? And the answer is no. But also, while I was out in LA, yet another guy who, again, didn't know him, just loved his content, and about a year ago reached out, Winding Path Movies, Jeremy Shipp.
Right. Okay.
Who has become a friend. We became friendly on the socials. He did the podcast. We became friends. He ran. I did my new sitcom. I did a table read with 30 actors, and his day job as a writer on a television show, and it's his 3rd show, he runs a table read for his show. So he ran the table read. He did the narration.
Right.
And,
sure. Okay. Yep.
And he has one of those, to quote Don Imus, a talent on loan from God kind of voices, just a great voice.
Right. Okay.
Great inflection. So he wasn't just reading. And honestly, he made that table read special. I got to put a face to a name with him. We got to hang out. We went to lunch. I won't give anything away except he is working on his next passion project that off the air I will tell you about, because you will love it. But anyways, super great guy, just a super great guy. But we'll get into it. I was out in LA, 6+ weeks. I couldn't wait to get there. I had an amazing trip out. My 18-year-old son drove out, and we did it in 52 hours, largely because there are a couple of things that came up that I wanted to take advantage of being out there right away. He could also drive a little bit. So 52 hours door to door, not 52 hours of driving.
And you weren't hurrying to try to catch World Cup games or anything like that, right?
That's exactly actually what it was. But we did. There was this new attraction in Vegas. I don't know if you've been to North Vegas in a while. It's like an industrial complex with these huge warehouse buildings, but each one has a different theme. One of them is Area 51, and one of them is this supermarket that has all these secret, you open the walk-in freezer and you can go to the back, and there's a secret door to take it into. Basically, it's an alien grocery store that they've come down to farm humans in type thing. But it's campy. The thing is huge. It's a whole warehouse. It's not as big as a real supermarket, but it's as big as any CVS I've been in, let's say. And they all lead to these secret back rooms, and it's basically a high budget. If you went to who did Plan 9 from Outer Space? Why am I blanking? Ed Wood. if you went to Ed Wood and says, here's all the money you can to build this set, that's what it is. It's really cool, but super campy, and it's fun. So we stopped there for many hours. And we stopped and had lunch with an old friend, and I were on the way. So we were making good time, but we were also, just not stopping. I would stop and sleep for a couple hours. I'd sleep for an hour here or there while he drove. But it was great. I love driving at night. I love driving early in the morning.
Right.
And going through Colorado, coming down the hill, maybe 100 yards away, wasn't a full-grown bear, wasn't a cub. But, to see a bear run across 6 lanes of highway
Oh, God.
and up a hill.
Oh, my God.
And just I was yelling to try to wake, my son up. And he kind of was half groggy. He could kind of make out Bigfoot going up over the mountain on the other side. But it was one of those things. It's like, this is why I love it. I would never have seen that if at any one point to the road I had stopped an extra 2 minutes at this gas station or that, I mean, that alone made the drive out there, just
Cool.
great. But yeah, stayed at our friend Woody's. My friend Woody has this 1922 house. I've posted it before. It's up in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
It stands out a little bit because about 10 years ago, one day, his nephew was staying with him, and they decided to get up and paint his house to look like a Mexican restaurant. So his house is very boxy looking on the outside, but this box is a little higher than that box, and it's all square and rectangle shape, 7 neon bright different colors, and so as you're coming up the hill, you can see it from literally a mile away. And it's great. You go, so he has a tiny room that's technically the 3rd floor. It's a tiny, tiny room, where his edit bay is, and you open the edit bay door, it opens up to his flat roof. You're looking at the Hollywood sign. And so you go out onto his roof. And when I say looking, I don't mean a mile away binoculars. Like, it's as clear as day. It's right there over the 101.
Right.
But if you're standing on his roof and you look to the left, and let's say it's 7:00 at night during the fall, you can see the flare gun from the Waterworld show a mile and a half away at Universal.
At Universal, yeah.
Yeah. And if you're standing on the exact same spot and you look to the right and it's a night game, all you see is the Dodger Stadium illuminated.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, it is ridiculous how cool like his roof is.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, so I stayed there.
I never got the invite, but sure. Yeah.
I stayed there. And the inside of the house, you would think he's some 60-year-old guy who's lived by himself and never had a woman girlfriend who says, you can't leave that there for the next 5 years. And yes, he can. So, it came with the house. And he doesn't know what to do with it. He wants to get rid of it, but he doesn't want to throw it out. It's called a box grand. It's a piano from 1860.
Yeah. Wow.
1860. And it works-ish.
Yeah.
It's as big as a regular grand piano, but it is. It's a box. Dude, and here's the amazing thing. It's like, I don't know when it wound up in his house. He's been there over 30 years.
Right.
But that was built in New Jersey in 1880.
Yeah.
Like, think what it took to get that across the country in 1800.
Was it made in New Jersey or?
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
Okay.
That's the only place the company ever made them. It's the only company that ever made them. One shop in New Jersey.
So it's not a it's not a Steinway.
No, it's a name of the, but it is. So
Okay, yeah.
And it was great because, Woody was still in New Jersey the first few weeks I was there. So, and then he was there the rest of the time. I can tell you what he's working on, but I cannot give any specifics. But I will just tell you he's working on a very, very big project for Hollywood Vampires.
Oh, right. Yep.
Which after their first show at the O2 Arena in a few weeks, we can talk about. But it's been pretty amazing seeing that project come together. In real time. But yeah, it was really fun. Then on the drive back, I think I was fooling myself, Biff. I thought I could be I could be out in LA for 6 weeks. I was supposed to stay another month, but a couple things came up.
Yeah.
One of them being a pleading, near crying phone call from management at 10:00 at night saying, if you can go to Chino Hills right now,
Right.
my friend can save these 2 dogs from a kill shelter.
Yeah.
Chino Hills
Yeah.
at 10:00 on a weekday night with no traffic.
Yeah.
Hour 15 minutes.
Sure.
Hour 20.
That's
And
like towards Pomona, right? Chino Hills is
yes.
Right?
I think it was a Pomona shelter where these dogs were going to meet their demise. And I say very honestly, I'm at Woody's house and I have Squishy and I have our three-legged pit,
Right.
Valkyrie, who made the drive out. Valkyrie drove there
Right.
and back with me. At the insistence of Woody, who insisted when he met her when he came to my
Yeah.
house last year, and Woody's my friend who I go and visit in New Jersey now and then, and he insisted I bring her there. So he's like, "Oh, well, yeah, sure, you can stay at my house, as long as you want." And the hills is you just have to bring Valkyrie. It's like, all right, so I did. But I said I can't have these two dogs that have never been in a house. I can't have these unhousebroken puppies, running around.
Right. Sure.
And she goes, "Oh, well, I already called Vronick, and she's willing to put them at her house until you leave." So I drove to Chino Hills,
And
met
then
her
go to
friend,
Ronnick's house.
and it's like these three women who conspired to ruin my trip. Because like Ronick was going out of town for business, so that's what capped it. These dogs had to be pulled tonight. Tonight was it was a call from the warden.
Sure.
So I met this woman to pick up the dogs from her, who got them from the place that saved them. And at this Walmart parking lot at night, not feeling like a drug deal at all, like not just feeling like there's absolute, and then I drove them back. But by the time I get back, it's 1, 2 in the morning.
Sure.
And I'm like, they're just gonna have to stay. I walked them, but they're gonna have to stay in the crate in the car. And
right.
It's a very big crate. It's 60 degrees. It's fine. It wasn't like they're outdoor dogs. They had never been in a house anyway, so it's not
right.
This torch. And then the next morning I brought them over. I will post the footage of bringing him to Ronick's because I won't give out the address, but a lot of people have seen it because it's a historical house. It was a location of a Serena Carpenter video. But she has to open the grand gates to this mansion. So here are these two puppies that went from death's door to like old Hollywood, like it reeks. Her house just reeks of 1920s Hollywood. It's just, there's a secret tunnel in the garage that goes out to the back street, maybe 100 yard that it's bigger than a crawl space, but you would have to hunch over to, and that's where they got the liquor in during their parties,
Right.
During Prohibition and stuff.
Prohibition.
So honestly, these dogs go from death's door to this mansion. And so I was supposed to be out there a few more weeks, but that window shut, and it's fine. It's fine, but I made the trip back in 55 hours door to door because the little guy, 16, doesn't have his license yet.
Right.
Plus, I had now had 3 dogs, and this, unwashed, unhousebroken, pheromone raging 16-year-old kid. The first night, I got up at like 8 in the morning, hit the road at noon, and you
didn't stay at any hotels or anything? You just slept in the car?
Yeah, well, so I got up at 8, left Woody's, packed the car, got over to Ronick's, had to take everything out of the car and repack it, with these dogs. So I had to put the dogs in their own separate like carrying crates, line it with pee pads just to mitigate any accidents along the way.
Of course,
Which, happy to report none, but that's because every 2 or 3 hours, a 5-10 minute walk, and it was problematic some places taking the dogs for a 5 to 10 minute walk because one of them was whining and I was going to stop anyways in Baker, California.
Right. Sure. Okay.
Anybody who doesn't know Baker, California, its claim to fame, just Google world's largest thermometer.
Yeah.
And it's a town that only existed to have a place to get gas on the way from Los Angeles to Vegas in the 40s. That's the whole reason the town was 1 or 2 little motels and like 2 or 3 gas stations. And now there's no hotels there anymore, but there's like 4 or 5 gas stations in every fast food chain and a big space alien attraction. But the problem was it was 107 degrees. I
Ooh,
can't
yeah,
stop
it's been warm. Yeah.
at a gas station and walk the dogs. I had to circle
Yeah.
the town to find
Grass or something.
grass for them to walk on, because if people don't
Yeah.
understand, if it's 107, that means the pavement's 125, 130
Yeah.
degrees.
Yeah.
And so a dog can't even step on it for a second.
Yeah. They're just gonna toast their toes.
Even the dirt. So,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have find, a fast food place that would have like a little strip of fake grass, because they don't even have real grass there. It's just for that. So we stopped. The dogs did great. All three dogs did great. Valkyrie's, our baby. She's just, so I got up at 8 a.m., left at noon, and I slept for about an hour and a half, 2 hours between 5:30 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. the next day. And then I drove straight through, and the same thing. I pulled over around like 3, 4 a.m., slept till about 5:30 a.m. and kept going. So, in 75 hours, I got 5 hours of broken sleep sitting up in the front seat, because the little guy had the seat back. We set up a little bed. He's wet seal with the dogs, and all his goddamn, his college fund. We brought his college fund home. By college fund, I mean we made 3 trips to Little Tokyo in 4 days.
Oh yeah.
Where he bought himself very hard to find anime figures. Biff was instrumental in recommending places to go. Little Tokyo is a Koreatown in Los Angeles is bigger than the city of Lowell, and that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah. No, yeah.
The city of Lowell is about 110, 115,000 people.
Yeah.
Koreatown, I don't even want to throw a number on it, but might be a million. I don't know. I know when I moved to LA in 95, there was 2 over-the-air regular television stations in Korean, and at least 3 of that, we knew of, because my mother-in-law, radio stations, full 24-hour news, and 1 news and 2 music stations, just in Korea. And it was but Tokyo, I don't know, how big's the Little Tokyo? It's
I mean, basically, I think the edge of it is it's basically Temple to 3rd Street, going north south, and then Alameda to like whatever, Los Angeles. So it's basically you can walk that perimeter, right? It's pretty, it's pretty small. And then like the biggest thing within Little Tokyo, technically, kind of, is like the police station, right? So, it's tiny.
It is. Maybe it's a mile around, or we just kept circling. We went in every anime shop.
Yeah, I mean, where you would be, you're pretty much confined to like this, like a 6-block, section between between Central and Los Angeles, and then 1st and 2nd Street, and that's basically it.
If there's a store there, we went in it. I have a friend in comedy back here, Dave Radigan, whose daughter's also into a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Yeah, the stores would have very similar stuff, sometimes the same stuff. But this figure would vary $20, $30 from a store 2 blocks away. So you did. You had to go in every store. The most expensive meal I bought was in this this anime, literally. This frozen pizza was like $25, but it's like when management and I went to Manchester. She got tea at a very posh tea place.
Yeah, right.
Very, very prim and proper, very dressed up, very English, thing. And so this was it for him. So it was great. I don't mind any of it. He's decent at haggling. Like he got really good over the last couple of years. Like when we went out last year and they had all these jerseys outside LAFC, the knockoff jerseys. It's like, he got really, really good. And this time we went back for a game and he wanted to get a bunch of jerseys, and the lady was not giving that great a deal. And he's like, all right, don't need them. And he just walked away, and, they chased him down. He's like, no, I'm good. It's like, all right, and it wasn't, look, there's a place 2 blocks away we're going to go haggle.
Sure,
You know, it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
you had a window, lady, in a block.
Yeah.
I will say the highlight for me is my clock ran out, and he was taking. I don't want to say too much time, but he wanted to go back and sure a game was starting. So here was a food van. Let me be clear, a food van. It was not a food truck.
Okay.
But they had a little canopy that you could seat 4 people because it's hot. It's downtown.
Right.
That had a table for 6 people to sit and a TV almost as big as their van showing the game in Telemundo, which is the only way to watch games anyways.
That's what I understand. I guess, and I guess that was like really. So Telemundo, is that NBC affiliated or something like that? Or
it is.
It's not Fox, right?
It's not, but it's worldwide. The Spanish speaking, everything. You know,
right? I guess people were getting pissed. Well, I mean, Fox was getting pissed off that they're losing all the viewers to Telemundo or something like that. So I saw that in the news. Yeah.
So for years, like. Management, when I used to watch U.S. sports, management was always amazed how much, if I watched New England Patriot game, I would be off maybe 30 seconds because I would work very hard to get it to time out with radio, with the local radio broadcast, because the local radio broadcast was better than the national guys. And then I would very often just watch games in silence or have Oasis playing. You know, same thing. I mean, literally speaking, Are there commentators at an NHL game, a national game, that has to water it down for somebody who's maybe watching it for the first time or whatever? Or is the game more enjoyable, me, you, and John Taylor doing our own commentating? And so I've been doing that for years, watching the games in Telemundo. Even Premier League games, I will put it on the Telemundo broadcast feed of it. So if I'm in the other room, because of the inflection, and because of the passion, okay, I got 5 seconds to get in the room and see what's about to unfold. And somebody did a great breakdown. Almost 50% of the words said on the Telemundo broadcast are players' names. Biff to John, John to Dave. Dave passes to Paul. So you really have to know pass. You have to know a corner. You have to know throw in. You have to know a box, you know, but most of the dialogue, you know, and I equate it to when we were learning sign language, you don't say every word in the conversation.
Right.
You know, if I post this clip and I say, you know, nice to meet you. But if I was taught, I would also say, Biff, it is nice to meet you, Biff. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to sign the whole name Biff if I don't know your name in sign language. So that's the whole thing. So you don't need, but the passion in these people's voices. I said it, I wasn't going to talk too much about the World Cup. I'm going to do a World Cup thing. I will say I went to Universal, Telemundo, before the World Cup we were in LA before the World Cup started. We got there the day it started.
Right.
And my son and I the next day go to Universal, and we get there an hour before the park opens. And as we're going down City Walk, Telemundo was shooting promos, and they have this huge quad in front of the movie theaters. I mean,
that big area. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then like the Hard Rock's on the on the end of that, right? Yeah, with the big guitar. Yeah.
So Hard Rock has a big screen, and then in front of the movie there's a big screen.
Oh yeah, I guess they do, huh?
Yes, there's 2, right?
Yeah.
So there's 2 quads, but the quad where the Hard Rock is smaller, but where the movie theater is huge open space. And so so as we're walking at like 7:45 in the morning, they're shooting promos for Telemundo, and there's billboards all around LA. They're going to have watch parties here for every Mexico and Team USA game. So a few days later, I go down for the first watch party, Mexico versus Team US versus Korea. And although I was probably the only people there pulling for Korea, because, you know, our one of our players' son plays for LAFC, the greatest Korean football player of all time, one of my son's all-time favorite guys, a beast. Maybe 300 people. Biff, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was at halftime, the second the whistle blows for halftime, here's the DJ going. And the dancing, and there was seating for about 100 people, tables for about another 50 people, and then everybody else just kind of standing there.
Right.
I had so much fun. So I go down for the next one. Biff, pulling out of Woody's driveway to get to the entrance of Universal is exactly 1.5 miles. And then it's about almost 4/10 of a mile straight up this hill to the parking garages at Universal.
Okay.
The cars were all the way back out to the street, to Ventura.
Dude,
All the flags.
Ventura. Okay. Wait,
You know,
Ventura. Okay.
yeah. I think is it Sepulveda? Maybe it's Sepulveda. Maybe it's Sepulveda.
No,
pull
wait.
off.
I'm trying to think of which end. So you're going in from the north side? Anyway, though, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but all the way back. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, almost a half mile to the street, and just the horn, people leaning on their horns and screaming out their window and flags fly. I mean, the party started waiting to get into. So I get there and the police, the security is trying to divert me around. I said, no. I went to the bathroom. My family's there. And they let me in.
Right.
And first I went upstairs. I posted pictures of this.
Right.
Biff, they had over 4,000 people in that quad.
Yeah.
It was you and I literally, I will put it, I was in town for the Stanley Cup party afterwards, but the atmosphere was no different than June 11th, 2012 at that Kings game. I mean, this was it. The atmosphere was so beyond anything I've been to sports-wise. I've been to a Patriots Super Bowl in Houston and the parking lot partying for days and stuff.
Right.
It was so great. This is how great it was. It was so great. I took so many pictures. I loved it so much. I got home. I didn't even get home. Like, I had FaceTime management and the boys in the parking lot. I FaceTime my sister and her husband and my cousins. I'm like, you have to see this. I honestly got home and the wife and I started looking, how much miles do we have? I need our youngest son who lives for football out here for the next game. I need him out here. Like, I cannot experience this. And so he comes out for the next game, and the fire marshal had put it. Okay, that's it. They closed it down. It wasn't for the next game. They put an end to it altogether.
Yeah.
The Telemundo, the Telemundo pop-up store was gone. Everything was gone.
Yeah.
And there was billboards all over LA promoting this before the World Cup. You know, there was, it's like, so they promoted this thing and then it worked and then people showed up. I will say I did go to the Team USA watch party. I think we had some really solid fans of the 50 people who were there. I think the 50 people who were there for team.
When it comes down to it, right? I mean, I think, because they had other events at other places. Like there was one right by my house too. Like, I don't know if you know this, but, there's a little, county park.
Right.
Where they actually have what they did was, so they have swing facilities. You know, it's one of those, kind of public pools, and they have those those slides and stuff like that. And so what they did was they put up a screen on one end of that pool, so people could just hang in the pool and whatever, right? But because it's a controlled environment, right? They said, the event is free, but you have to get tickets. So then when they run out of tickets, they run out of tickets, right? Kind of a thing. So, and that you can't do that. I mean, that area you can't, there's merchants and whatever, so you can't do it. So basically when they realized that they can't control the numbers, and the numbers are exceeding, what they thought that they could manage, right? I mean, you could kind of almost tell, right? At the point where they're trying to send you away, that was going to be likely, right?
And I asked so many people like why, and they're like, oh, it was out of hand. There were so many fights.
Yeah.
Completely bullshit.
It's not about the fights. It's just a number of people.
It had nothing. Like, I'm going to say the plurality was families. Like I'm sitting there and, dude, and I think I don't know how much I posted, but right to my immediate right was maybe 5 or 6 late teens, early 20s, Spanish kids, all wearing different jerseys. And I'm like, oh man, I said, that's an old school Barca jersey. And a couple of these kids look at me like, what does this, short old white guy know about Barcelona football? Yeah. And then they realize, oh, I'm wearing a Cantona because they were playing France, collared old school vintage shirt. And we just spent right behind me. If I took a step back, I'm bumping into It's like an oversized wagon that people have now to have like 2 or 3 kids in, and it's dad, it's mom, it's somebody's brother,
Yeah.
it's grandma. It was a whole family there. I mean, that was
Yeah.
the whole vibe. And at halftime, these young kids took turns throwing each other up in the air. But like 7 or 8 of them throwing their buddies up in the air, and that was the whole vibe. At halftime, same thing. As soon as the final whistle, and Mexico won that game 3-0. So the GJ started the second the final whistle, dude. There was nothing. There was no pushing, shoving,
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't think it was I don't think it was an issue with I mean, because I mean, if there were issues, right? I mean, it would have been in the news, right? I mean, the news loves that stuff, right? None of that occurred, right? So
Not, and then
yeah,
they canceled all the watch parties, like the USA ones, because they couldn't. They couldn't say, well, only 50 people show up for the USA ones. We're going to let it happen. No, uh,
I
but
what that wasn't an excuse for that, the America 250 festival.
we'll talk about. So to wrap up the trip, now Biff is going to talk because Biff
I'm going
was
to talk.
so kind. Biff, you know what the highlight for my trip was, which you and
Yeah, of
John were
course,
part
yeah.
of. Biff, why don't you tell people about the highlight and who this gentleman is and what he means to
Yeah,
us?
so obviously, right? So kind of John coordinated a visit with the legendary Paul LaGloire, and if you've played hockey in the Los Angeles area, recreationally, you've probably come across, a good chance you probably came across Paul LaGloire, but he's been running multiple pickup sessions in LA for years. He is what, 98 now?
Hmm.
Is that right? So, so he retired from the pickup circuit about a little bit before before COVID, but he was basically skating at like age 90, so which is kind of insane. But so anyway, so he's now living with his one of his daughters, and so there was a visit, right? So it was Yumi, John, Tom, and Woody, and and just a couple hours, just just shooting the shit, and just terrific to see, it's just, I mean, to say that we've been fortunate, right, to have this man in our lives is really, I mean, there's, you know, we've had, our, great friendships created. There's been multiple marriages as a result of this, circuit. It's just an amazing community, and so it's one of those things, right? You want to see the man while you still can, kind of a thing. So, but yeah, it was just a great, a few hours, and of course, hosting us was his son JP, who's taking over the pickups, so. Yeah, and and well, nice for John to make that long drive from Manhattan Beach, during the day. But
And bringing in the 12 pack. Now, I jumped
yeah,
on the bandwagon 95, maybe late 95, early
yeah,
96 is when I started playing with
yeah.
Paul. Do you know when you started?
I was around the same time.
And this is where,
Yeah,
so I knew two groups of people when I moved out there, like the celebrity douchebags through hockey, which brought me out there.
yeah,
And it wasn't fun playing hockey with them. And it wasn't fun. That wasn't my thing. And then I found Paul and instantly
yeah,
found like the best friends I've ever had,
yeah,
aside from my guitarist, Dan, and my, guitar, Joe back here. And, a couple of friends, Mike and Mike growing up, but, you all at the same time, you, John, Paul, Paul was a minister in my first wedding, Biff in the second one. But yeah, I mean, it was so great to see him. And Paul, migrated here late 60s, early 70s from Montreal.
something like that. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably correct. Yeah.
Pre-Kings. He was here before the Kings were, I believe.
Oh, if that's the case, that would be I mean, King's first season was 67, 68, right? So,
66, 67. And,
so yeah.
and still has the thickest accent. Now, don't embellish, but Biff, have you ever met anybody who told dirtier jokes than Paul LaGloire?
I mean, well, kind of, but I mean, when it comes down to it, right? It's not something. I think the thing about it is, for one, right? When there's something instantly like you get that if you're talking with that English with that French accent, there's a certain level of like kind of immediate class that you know how like in the movies they have those people speaking English with a French accent, right? There's this certain elegance to the way they speak, and you see the accent, but the accent is really pleasant, right? You know, and so when those kind of jokes come out of a with that voiceover, it's a little bit jarring, right? It's like that's I think that's the thing with the Paul is that the fact that he has the accent makes that joke. He makes the jokes, same time worse and amazing, right? At the same time, right?
And they're usually 20 minutes long. So we're sitting there, and John notices some baseball thing. And if you know Paul, baseball is as big to him is hockey. And then he just looks at us and goes, I love, and yes, as a guy with a French name, who's Irish, I think I can do the accent without being canceled. Yeah. He goes, I love baseball as much as I love the hockey. And for 10 months of the year, there is either baseball or there's hockey, but there is a 2-month window where there is no baseball, there is no hockey. So that is when I do all my jerking off for the year in those 2 months. And then he was talking about a nurse comes in like twice a week. Right. She comes in twice a week to bathe me. She's very nice, but I'm hoping to find a nurse who has Parkinson's, and he mimics the woman jerking off.
Yeah.
Guy is 98 years old, and just the most lecherous. He look. We all now know that Pepe Le Pew is a stereotype based on like racist tropes, and it is wrong. However, Pepe Le Pew was based on Paul LaGlorie.
I mean, if you really think about it, people think he's French, but there are no skunks in France, right? He's probably Canadian. He's probably French Canadian. We should that should be I'm gonna check Reddit right now to see if there's a thread. Is Pepe Le Pew French Canadian?
Dude, was so great. Like, you know what? If he is, nothing will make me happier. Yeah. And I will double down on that either. Now, because Pepe Le Pew predates Paul. So Paul was born in 1928. So
Pepe Le Pew does not predate.
No. I'm trying to think. I bet Pepe Le Pew was based on our guy Paul. I guarantee it. So, yeah. So that was and for our friend John, in the middle of the day, if you look up how far Manhattan Beach is from Pomona, California, Tahanga, I mean, at 3 a.m, that's a 45, 50-minute drive. At 3 a.m, on a Wednesday. I mean, dude, he had to be in the car at least an hour and a half both ways. Walks in with the, cold 12-pack, which was great. Just what a day. And Woody hadn't seen the old man in many years. So it was great that Woody went with me. So it was Woody.
You know what? That's, I should have thought of that. I should have thought about reaching out to Woody. Also, what I was going to go back to was that, we had this big party for, they had, JP arranged this big party for Paul, back in April. And I should try to let Woody know that was happening. I've completely forgot. I mean,
so many people will come and go. It's hard to keep. But plus, if it was in April, he was in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Well, because I was gonna say, if Whitney can show up, it's like
allegedly Whitney. Have we proven that that's actually Whitney? Oh, so the funny thing, not the funny thing. So yeah, that was the highlight trip. Look, I did a stand-up show with my really great friend Sal, Biff's friend Sally. I mean,
I'm sorry I missed it. Obviously I would have wanted to go, but I was in New York at the time.
Dude, it was so much fun. And that place has said, do whatever shows you want. So I'm trying to find excuses to justify being back there. Or at least being back there more. I have a place to stay, which is great. And as long as I don't go in the red, like being out there, you know what I mean? If I can justify being out there, because, my oldest one wants to go to school there next year. So I kind of have to establish state residency and all that stuff. We're not moving anytime soon. The youngest one is going to sophomore year. So I got a little time before, but I do want to start. But the show was great. It was great. But the highlight of the trip truly was seeing the old man, and just the stories, and just his daughter had said, yeah, Dad can do about 40, 45 minutes and hours at the most. 2 hours later, like we're like, yeah, we should probably go. Like, but if we had stayed all night,
yeah.
But seriously, that guy has, and like you said, the number of people he brought together. He had 5 pickups, and each one of them has their own community. And there's bleed over. You play in this and that, and this guy plays in this and that. There's a Tuesday, Thursday guy. But Paul, I forget, was it his 80th birthday? He dropped the puck at the Staples Center.
I don't know. Was it aligned with his birthday? I know I could look this up, but yeah.
And the LA Times wrote a big article about him, and they talked about him still playing into his 80s and all the organizing he does and the 5 pickups. And they asked him, like, does he have a favorite? Unabashedly, absolutely beaming. Yeah. Friday night was his favorite.
Yeah.
Like we were his favorite.
We knew that. We
do. And when I got out there, the first 3 or 4 years, I was his defensive partner before he jumped to second line. He went back to second line. Like I replaced Guy Fournier, this other old guy, which is great. Right. There was this old guy, like 62, 63. Remember how old Fournier was? And he was the dirtiest fucking player ever, which was great. And you would have these dumb 20-year-old fucks saying, oh, he's clutching and grabbing and tripping me. It's like, dude, you're fucking 20. The guy came, he's an octopus. If you get close enough, that's on you, you dumb shit. Oh, did Paul, at the time, like 68-year-old guy, Paul, play you too rough in the corner too? But I was his defensive partner for a few years. He used to love, like, the one time I, like, bashed Whitney, and I, like, Whitney was just being Whitney, and finally I gave him a good shove into the back of the net. He went down, and when he stood up, I just clocked him when he was half standing up. I'm like, you stay down, bitch. For the next year and a half, Paul would just call me, you stay down, bitch, and he would hang up the phone. He would just randomly call. Oh, and here's the fucked up thing. His son looks at me. I moved away in 2015.
Right.
But I've called Paul on regular, but I haven't seen Paul in a few years. JP looks at me and goes, Jacques, do you remember Dad's number? And I'm like, holy shit.
Well, that's the thing that I do too. Like right?
Dude, I mean, how many people do you know haven't like dialed anybody's number in 20 years?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm exaggerating. And I did. I think I had 2 numbers inverted, but I remember 818, 241, and then I remember, was it 8437?
No, 3784.
3784. But dude, I haven't dialed that number.
Yeah, neither have I.
But how many times did we call that number to see if you're on?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I
mean, I have, like, for some reason I have that number memorized. I remember my original Toronto phone number memorized.
What was that?
416-486-5617. But I mean,
so 12-year-old, 14-year-old Biff moved to Hawaii.
Right. And then, but I don't remember my Hawaii phone number for some reason.
Same. Nope. We moved out of Wilmington, Mass in 84. Yes, it just changed to the 508. 658-8787. It's a pretty easy number to remember. And then my parents moved, and that was 508. Yeah, I don't remember that one that they had ever since then. And they had that up until about 3-4 years ago that they had the landline. Yeah, but seeing the old man was just So I came out. So I get pressure a little bit, like, to go and play hockey in Phoenix. And I really thought about it. Like, I forget the last time I played, but my foot got caught where the Zamboni comes out. Yeah. And game 1 or game 2. And it has never been right since then. Mm. And it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to have surgery. It's like, I'm fine, but now and then it hurts. But I get, this is what I miss. I miss, John and I used to go out to the King's practice rink.
Right. Yeah.
Once a week at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah. Just us. And for a half hour, we would have the rink to ourselves. And after about 6 a.m., a couple people would come out and they would see us doing drills. And they'd be like, oh, These guys know what the fuck they're doing. I'm going to jump in and do drills.
Yeah.
And I miss that. I miss the drills. I miss the skating. I miss the sound of your skates on the new sheet of ice in an empty barn. I miss the clanking, off a post in an empty barn. I do. I don't miss being frustrated because, and it's look, if I played a lower level hockey,
right,
I'd be fine. Like my level, if I'm online too, my level of expectation.
You have to understand what's happened to F&H also, because we have the same guys, so it's not at the speed that it used to be. So like All-Star is still incredible, right? Scotty's still great, but when it comes down to it, it was slow before, and it's a little slower now.
Yeah, well, I remember 10 years ago, Taylor saying, all the rinks are videotaping games now. If you get a chance to watch your game, don't. You will quit. You won't sell your equipment. You will burn it or throw it in the trash. But
absolutely.
I got there for one of the games. It's a game you were in New York. So the first time I got there just before you guys were done, and. So the second week, Woody went. So we got there a little early, and I'm watching it. And line one comes out. The breakout pass misses its target, and it essentially is an icing.
Yeah.
The dark team goes back. They get the puck. They make a breakout pass. Guy misses it. It's essentially an icing.
Yeah.
The white team goes down. Breakout pass gets intercepted at the blue line.
Yeah.
And somebody on a 3-on-1 takes a shot so bad that it ricochets out all the way to the other side of the ice. And then the one almost good pass. The defenseman sees All-Star Tommy between the offensive blue line and the red line coming across the middle. The defenseman makes a bank pass right around their one defender between them that is going to wind up on Tommy's backhand, and he's all alone one-on-one. Except the Mexicant, Zach, sees the pass, stops short, reaches well behind him, and intercepts the pass. Here's the problem.
They're on the same team. Yeah.
They're on the same team. Yeah, and Zach had no awareness that a much better player was. And I don't know how many times we've said to Zach, look, I've said to Zach, I'm not fast. I don't shoot well. I don't skate great, but I pass incredibly well. So if I'm passing to you and you have to stop, turn 180 and reach behind you, I wasn't passing to you.
It's not for you.
And I just started laughing. And Woody and I, because, we have the bird's eye view looking down. And I looked at Woody. I'm like, this is it. This is why I can't do it. I can't go from, the last real hockey I played, where anyways in Qatar which is so stupid to say, but how good it was, to driving an hour and a half. And like Paul never charged me to play. Like Paul never once charged me to play. So it's like, well, now I'd have to pay $30 to do this.
It's actually closer to 40, but sure.
Okay, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like.
But I mean, as we say every week, he says, we're not really here for the hockey.
No, not at all. Not at all. But then again, I don't drink hard alcohol or smoke cigars, so I'm not there for that either.
You don't have. I don't do the cigars. But it's just it's for the post game chatter. It really is.
I'm there to talk to. Kevin Anderson. I will say this.
Kevin Anderson is not a regular.
I know. It was sad that to find that we have this guy named Sod, Brett Soderholm. That he went by the name Sod, but for a decade plus he was known as Tanker because he showed up tanked, like an absolute hardcore alcoholic who somehow had a high-level engineering job his whole life, lived alone with his cat Tikkanen, but he would get to hockey an hour before, a couple hours before.
I think he went there like straight after work because he worked just down the street from there.
Well, he would go to Fridays.
Oh, right.
To do happy hour.
Right.
From like 5 to 7 or 8. Then he would sit in his car from 8 to 9:30, 9:45, polishing off a 12-pack, and then come play hockey. And And yeah, so he left shortly after I did, and but we found out he's no longer with us, and that was sad. It made me sad.
Yeah.
Biff, why don't you tell the good folks how we found out of he's no longer with us?
Well, I mean, John basically it's an internet search, and John found
Oh, I thought it was our new friend Jessica,
I don't
the girl on the text chain.
no. That's not how we found. That's how we knew that he wasn't using the phone anymore. But I mean, John found it was actually the real actual thing is that John found the coroner's report. So yeah, but now so and we had this thing where Sato has been in this massive basically this Arizona hockey / FNH Friday Night Hockey mass text chain, and then it sounds like you really like this guy's you really like this thread, but I have this number now, and I'd appreciate it if you don't send me these texts, right? And every once in a while, like last time it was you that sent it through that thread.
Yeah, I didn't know. I literally I had no
but she had already said, hey.
But I don't read that thread much. I don't read that thread much. And then when I was doing the comedy show, because the reason I wasn't going to do a show out there, but
blah 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 blah. Regardless,
but I felt so bad that I brought it back, and then Biff instituted the $10 fee.
So if you text through that thread again, we're going to collect $10 and send it to Jessica because we have her number. We can Venmo them.
We can Venmo, and Biff is a man of his word. And the thing is, there's only been a couple times that Biff has stepped in and said, all right, enough. This is how things are going to go forward. And the biggest, toughest, baddest person in that whole thing is like, all right, if Biff said that's what we're going to do. Like Biff's the one of the ones who like doesn't put his foot down much, but when he does, it's like Dad's actually taking the belt off. It's like it is time. Who instituted if Stuber blocks a shot, it's 10 push-ups? Who started that?
I don't know who started that. Because that's obviously I have nothing to do with that, right? Because I'm sitting at the net, right? And this was something that was. I'm gonna guess it's probably like All-Star or something. Because obviously he's the one that would essentially, he's the guy with the actual background to be able to tell you guys, don't do this stupid thing. He's gonna block that shot. Don't shoot it into his shin pads, right? I mean, so I'm gonna guess that it's probably All-Star, but I don't know. That's a conversation that happened in the bench where I don't hang around,
well,
so.
I'm glad to hear that the jerseys have made their way back. Do we have the MIP in the first star, or is it just the MIP, or is it just the first star?
There's multiple. So there's so the first star. So we retired the original first star jersey, and Paul has that. And then they brought a new one. It's kind of so we'll work on getting a new one. And then there is there's MIP, right? Yep. There is the no-show, the Pink Gronkowski, right? Yep. There's another one which is this was I think after you left, but they have this one that's I pay $27, I do whatever the hell I want.
That's a John. Right. And it's funny because about a year or so ago, 2 years ago, when you guys were going to retire it, John wanted to recognize the origins of the shirt.
Right.
And he calls me, and I really didn't know. I know some of the origins of the shirt. So we're trying to find people who aren't there anymore, and maybe have pictures of the first showing and stuff. We get a hold of Chris Holden.
Yeah.
Oh, what was Chris Holden's nickname? God damn it. Holden had a great nickname, and I'm blanking on it. And I call Chris Holden, and Chris Holden's like, yeah, I got pictures, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to send him now. I'm like, yeah, we're trying to find out who started that whole thing. And it's like, and there's a pause. He goes, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, John called me, blah, 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 trying to find out. And Holden's like, you did, you idiot. I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, remember Bruce Diesel? And I'm like, kind of. Bruce was Chris Holden's buddy who showed up, who took it way too serious.
Yep.
And John had always done the first star thing. Well, I guess I had bought a jersey that Chris and I took to Hans and have the number 1 put on it.
Right. Yeah. You
That-
brought it to so we had a Kings game.
Yes.
So
And
we
the
had
box.
a suite.
Yeah.
We had a suite. Yeah. So I do have photos of that.
Christine Pico was there. Right. I didn't remember that. Like when Chris told me, keep in mind, this was before 2007, and I at the time, hold on, let me look at my notes. Was still a drinker. so there's things that I've been part of that I don't recognize. But here's my favorite part of the first star jersey. Basically, it should have been called the All-Star jersey, which, by the way, the name All-Star did not come from his hockey acronym.
No.
But yes.
It's from his texting.
Yes. But All-Star played at ULOL. He played at Yale. How dare you? How dare you, Jacques? And he's just great. He's like late 30s, early 40s when he starts with us. And he's a fucking phenomenal athlete. But he gets the first Jar jersey 1 week, and the next week he comes in with some patch on it.
Yeah.
Perfectly. Like sewn on patch from his youth, where I don't know how he found it, where he found it, but it's 12-year-old. And as the story goes, his wife, who at the time, I don't know if she had become a doctor yet or was, in medical school, comes home and sees her husband sewing a patch on a jersey and says, and I quote, "There are light bulbs that have been burnt out in this house for 6 months."
Yeah.
And you have time to
Yep.
And then it became like an obligation. If you got the jersey, you had to put a patch on it. It could be anything. By the time that jersey got, flak jackets that military, that people wear.
As we say, it's a heavy jersey.
Literally. And then the MIP most improved, which I don't know. I don't know how many weeks in a row can you win the MIP before you realize how bad was I to start with. Wait, if I'm better now than I was and I've won it 14 weeks in a row. Gronkowski, that was a little bitter pill, a little.
So let me share the screen for just a sec.
Please.
Okay. Here you go. This is the presentation of the John Taylor holding the first star jersey in its original incarnation. There you go. That's in the suite.
Oh, I don't know who that's behind him.
No clue.
I don't know who is immediately to the right, but that is first name fucking, last name Hafen, I believe, right there.
Is that Holden?
Is that Holden? Yeah, that might be.
I think this might be Pico over here.
Yeah, because there are. I have a great shot from the other angle, and you can see Pico. Yeah, I completely forgot. I took that to Hans and had the first star number 1, the actual jersey made.
Yep.
I completely forgot that was me, and when Holden's like, dude. Oh, but that was that. I'm glad that there's a new thing back. But yeah, that was so my and then the lastly that I'll talk about is that I had done this pilot. I had written this pilot. I got help to finish off by my friend Dave Radigan. My friend Dante had helped organize a big table read that Jeremy I said did the VO for, and I went out to shoot footage for it. And like the trip as a whole, I was very disappointed with parts of the trip. Because most of my industry is gone, and most of the people I worked with are gone, and the few who are still
when you say
there,
industry, you're talking about when you did your like a DVD and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, like the post thing and the production stuff. Right. There's not a lot of production going on in LA,
Yeah.
And of the people who I worked with who were friends, like Ronik, she's out of the industry. Even the people I know there, I will not make that big of a deal of it, but I will say, and when I say if I move out there, I have to be working more than I am here, because even with a great deal on rent,
I just wanted to let you know that Costco does pay a living wage.
Well, I will say this. Costco, I got pizza there once a week. Yeah. And it lasted 3 days. Their pizzas are huge, and they're $10.
They're humongous, yeah. Actually, and they're so huge, and I don't think that it properly fits in my oven because they have the pizza, in the refrigerator section, right? I
Yeah.
don't think it properly fits in my oven. Now,
Dude,
granted, I do have a small oven, but still.
they are huge, and
Yeah.
like I go over and I get like a bottle's worth of relish, that I put on the side. Okay, yeah, I'm one of those pickles on pizza kind of guys. But even and there's not much else I can eat. There's Sundays I got a couple. Even those are like, wait, this is $2. Like this is about 5 pints of Ben and Jerry's ice cream in this, and it's great. I will say, yeah, I went to Costco and I would that's where I would do my shopping.
Yeah.
I look, I
So
was
that's why. So and you know about it's like the hot dog combo is like what, $1.50 everywhere,
and they
right?
won't raise the prices.
But you know what's funny about it, right? Because it's $1.50 everywhere. When you go to Japan, it's a weird price
Oh, okay.
because it's still $1.50 there too.
Well, it's funny. If you followed up, there's so many people who came over for the World Cup, and
Right.
the number of people who couldn't believe that Costco was real. Like Costco is an urban legend, and there's so many Scots. And you heard what the
Yeah.
Scots took over Boston. There's so many people who were getting hot dogs, and they couldn't believe it's like that this is $1.50. People
Well,
will be
everything else is so expensive, and then
Right. And so people do, but it's true. You get to the Costco in Burbank. I think it opens, like if you have the gold membership, you can get in at like
an hour early. Yeah.
9. But if you have the regular membership, but the line to get pizza and food is 20 minutes, a half hour long. And the parking lot is packed. If it opens to the general public at 10, that parking lot, you are parking at the far end or behind or circling waiting for a spot. Yeah, but gas prices are crazy. Even with a great deal, from Woody, it's still so crazy expensive to live there that
Oh yeah.
I would, when I go to these comedy rooms, these workout rooms, like I would go to this one in Hollywood for 4 o'clock and then go over the hill to the one in Burbank at 6 o'clock and then go to the one over here at like 8 o'clock. Like I would go to one and then have an hour to get to the next one. This time out there, I would just stay at one for 3 or 4 sessions in a row. You book every hour, and then because I want different people and different voices, and I like the different rooms. But I'm like, I can't afford to drive from here to there unless I really had to. I mean, it was just and the Costco gas, same thing. It's like I can't believe that but you do. It's almost $1. It was almost $1 difference from where Woody lived to make the 20-minute drive over to Costco. It's like, without exaggeration, 80-ish, 85 cents, depending on the day. And if you're filling up 16, 17 gallons, it's like,
Oh yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
It is worth it. But
that's why that gas line is like, it's forever.
But it moves. It does move. I will say
move.
It looks worse, and it's not the 70s that you.
No.
Where you're in it for all. But I will also say, look, I drive a lot. I have made the mistake twice in the last 3 years, forgetting how expensive gas is in Canada.
Oh,
like gas in Canada is on par with California, if not worse.
Because of the taxes, I guess.
Yeah, whatever it is. Like twice I've made that mistake.
Because they have refineries there, don't they? I mean, I know they do get a lot of
Well, remember that big pipeline that they wanted to put from like Alberta to Texas?
Oh, the XL, whatever.
Yeah,
Keystone XL. Yeah,
Keystone XL. Thank you. And people were upset. And it's like, oh, it's all these jobs, and people like, well, no, like the data centers, those jobs exist while you're building it, but those jobs are fleeting. They're not like full-time jobs. And this is an environmental hazard that sits here forever. And plus, we are piping our gas to Canada. That's what people were upset. But no, they were piping oil from Canada down to Texas to be refined and then shipped out from there. So it wasn't like the
so
pipeline.
my understanding is, so I don't, do you know this guy called Mr. Global?
Yes.
Okay. So Mr. Global explained that whole thing where I guess, they have these like there's different, like petroleum product is not a single thing, right? There's different types of petroleum products, and I think there's a specific type that comes from the from the fracking in Alberta that is some kind of a different.
It's like black tar-ish. It's
right.
It's very
It's
tough,
like a high density, whatever, right?
Yes.
So, but I get and so they in the end, the fact that Keystone isn't running really isn't, apparently much of an issue, apparently, because, for whatever reasons, right? So, but yeah, but I'm guessing that maybe Canada just, because, Canada, compared to everybody, every country is socialist compared to the US, but they do have those, like I know that they have very expensive other kind of things, like, I think nationwide, cigarettes are super expensive in Canada because obviously, right?
Right.
Nationalized health insurance. So tobacco being a, leading cause of, medical issues costs,
Right.
the Canadian government money on their health insurance. So so they tax it heavily. So I'm guessing that maybe it's like a tax or something like that would be my guess, but
Well, with the refinery, because of Canada's environmental laws,
yeah.
it's very prohibitive for them to refine it there.
Right.
So
I see.
it was more economical for them to build the
Ship it.
pipeline because
They
they
ship
were
it out and bring it back
shipping.
in, yeah.
Right, they were shipping it well, and then it gets exported out from Texas. So the people and the environmentalists in the United States were saying we are taking the environmental risk that this
Yeah.
literally goes from one border
Yeah.
all the way down to another border, only to go back to
Yeah.
its nature of origin. So, yes, the state of Texas gets this economical boost for billing them for the refining it, but the rest of our country doesn't benefit from this. So, whatever happened, yeah, I think it might have been the Mr. Global that brought. So I'm looking forward to being back in LA a lot more because, my oldest one does now drive and have his own car. The youngest one, football / soccer season rather, ends like the second week of October.
Okay.
So management wants, to go back to London for, a couple reasons. One of them, she's
Duran
lining up.
Duran?
It is Duran Duran, but she's also trying to line up for the time out there job interviews
I see.
and stuff like that. So she wants to go back to travel nannying because she can now.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
like she's about to age out of
Sure.
the family she's with, and when she worked for the Qataris, there's a lot of people who work 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Right, right, right.
And if she can do something like that and be based in London, or anywhere in Europe, that would be her goal. Um, because that would take a while to come together, and
Right.
by that point, the youngest one will already have his license and stuff like that.
Right, right, right. I mean, he
And
can get his license now, right?
what's that? Yeah, he can. He can. Yep. He's permit. He has his
He gave
permit,
you a permit. Oh, okay.
and by late fall he can have a license. And then if he for a year later, like we can get him a car, help him get a car like we did his brother. But either way, I mean, I'm actually thinking about leaving my car and getting a car in LA. It's I don't know. I will drive out again, or maybe get him a cheap car here. Anyways, we got a lot of things, but the point is, like the place that I did that show, they're like, yeah, you can do a show here monthly. You can do shoe shows here a month. It's like if you want to do something.
The place in Santa Monica?
Hollywood Distillery on Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood.
Oh, on Santa Monica. Okay.
Yeah, very. I mean, it's in an okay neighborhood in Hollywood, but very swank place, a high end distillery. Like back here, we have all these breweries, these microbreweries and stuff that are awesome. Right. This is a whiskey and vodka distillery.
Okay.
Too nice for me. I mean, I don't drink, but I'm not going to say people were complaining, but I didn't know I was inviting friends to come to a place where drinks are $26. I don't. I mean, you go out. I mean, you're not a drinker, but if you get a drink at the Staples Center, what's a beer? What's a 20-ounce beer at Staples?
I think that if you get, I think beer starts at like $14 for the the Bud Lights and all that stuff. Then they're I think they're kind of bigger cans, but still, I think it's like $14.
The 20-ounce
starting point for the starting point.
And can you get mixed drinks at Staples?
Oh yeah.
What any idea what those are? I mean,
I think 20 something bucks is Staples prices.
So that's
yeah.
LA prices, I guess. Okay.
I don't want to say LA prices.
All right. Well, the Hollywood Distillery,
like a staple. Yeah. I mean, but it's that is kind of on the high side, right?
For me, and now just before we wrap up, you went fishing the other day. How was? When's the last time you did one of those half-day fishing trips?
Oh, it's been a few years, like probably 5 or 6 years. So yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Now that I got the saltwater thing, fishing license. And, I'm going to see if I could do it again this summer. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Took my stepson and his child, and the kid loves to go fishing. When you do that stuff, it's one of those things where, like, half of my job, like, he likes putting the bait on the hook. Thank God for that, because I don't have to deal with that. But half of my job is getting the fish off the hook, kind of a thing, right? And then apparently I had to do it for my stepson too. So I was doing it for everybody. But yeah, but it was, so we caught a lot of fish, but like the specific type of fish that we caught a lot of is called calico bass. So it has to be 14 inches for us to keep it. So we were only able to keep a couple. And then I also had a bonito, which is like kind of in the tuna family on, and then the thing just kind of dragged me towards the front of the boat, where it was, maybe the smartest bonito ever, where it kind of looped itself around the anchor post and unhooked himself. So that's a smart bonito.
Yeah.
Good job. So, but yeah.
I love, I don't know the comedian who has that story about getting off a hook and telling its friends, and it's like a human explaining that they were abducted. I will find that routine and send it to you.
I know that. Who was that? I know that routine. Where
sure you were, Frank. It was a hook. Oh, it took you. Yeah.
I was grabbed by him through the mouth and thrown back in. Yeah.
Yes, their version of anal probing. It's like I got hooked by the mouth. Yeah. No, that is pretty great. And your New York trip was fun.
It was fun. Yeah, I just as like my older brother is just one of the smartest people I've ever known, just not very functional. So yeah, so I just check on him every once in a while. Part of what I wanted to do was do a little bit more of the cleanup, but it was so freaking hot that week. I mean, you probably heard it from your families there, right? Up in the Northeast corridor, that week preceding July the 4th was just, and then I had and there was a concert there, so I went to that concert, and it was like 96 degrees and like 80% humidity. It's like, it was just awful, like even the band was just saying, he's like, it's freaking hot. It's freaking hot, so, but and I guess the only other thing is that this is the kind of, to give you an idea of how, what my brother's like. My mother passed away in 2017, and one of the things that every time I went there is like, his freezer was packed full of crap, because that people who survived wartime Japan or immediate post-war Japan, basically, those were hard times. Those people waste nothing, and they keep everything, right? So my mom would say, "Oh, I have this little thing, blah blah blah." So I have the same habit of overfilling freezers. Oh yeah, I'll eat this sometime, whatever, right? So it was fridge was full of that stuff. Good news, bad news. His fridge broke. And so basically he had to throw, so basically he got to do fridge cleanup. I opened the fridge and said, holy crap. I was hoping to get to this. And he said, oh yeah, the fridge broke. And so I had to throw a lot of the stuff away. So it's like, hurrah. One thing that I thought I was going to have to do, don't have to do it now.
That's
because,
awesome.
There was stuff literally, 10-year-old food in that freezer.
No, we
15-year-old food in that freezer.
Dude, we used to stay with a friend in LA, and I remember my sons really free, and they wanted, neither one of them would eat food at Woody's house, only because they were so scarred from the last place we stayed. Like, how old is this mustard? How old is this ketchup? How old, like things that weren't expired, but expired a decade ago. Like, like you would see medicine bottles around this person's house, and it's like,
yeah,
look, it's like we have EpiPens, and EpiPens last a year. Well, they really last like 2 years, but they have a clear window in it. And so you can see if it's cloudy, you can't use it. But if it's solid, it's fine. We're talking medicine that has been expired for like 5-6 years that this person has, and that we would see them take, and we'd be like, I can't, whatever that medicine was designed to do, I'm guessing taking it at this point would have a worse reaction than what you're taking it to help with.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, we do clear our medicine pretty regularly.
but
So
yeah, same thing.
yeah,
Like fridges.
yeah,
And my mother-in-law, same thing. When we moved her, it's like there was some food items that it's like,
yeah.
dude, like doomsday preppers would tell you, no, I'm not eating
I mean,
this.
but right, but same thing, right? Like North Koreans, right? Similar kind of
Same thing. Yeah.
different circumstances, but similar, kind of experience, right? It's like, you don't waste things, right? I will, so yeah.
Well, Biff, it's been way too long. Hopefully the next podcast in a couple weeks, will be with all of us on it. I think I am after the game yesterday. Well, last I'm recording it, the game tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the little guy wants to watch it or not. I have to stop calling. He's 3 inches, 4 inches taller than me. At one point, I'm going to have to stop calling Squishy the
That's
little
all right.
guy.
That's what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you call somebody something,
Yeah.
and it sticks. Doesn't matter, Sometimes it becomes ironic, but it's fine.
And just for clarification's sake, Biff's not his first legal name. Case in point.
What?
You look like a Biff. And I always go to point out, I'm like, of all the names he could have chosen.
I think you're kind of being prejudicial that, my, Japanese-born immigrant parents would name me Biff.
But at least the name came, not at least, but it's like my generation hears the name Biff and they get an image in their head because of Back to the Future. Your name predates it by 3 years, I think. Back to the Future
whatever, like, so I got my nickname in 83.
83. Okay,
so,
maybe it was a year. Maybe it was 84, 85.
I'm trying to remember when Back to the Future came out. Yeah. But around there, a couple of years, yeah. Actually, I was told by the people, a friend of mine who is, who's a lot better read than I am. Apparently, Biff is a character on Death of a Salesman, and apparently it's
yeah.
I never read it, so
Willie Loman's oldest son, Biff. Yes.
I never read it, so
shit.
yeah. So he says that's a bad nickname. Did you never read Death of a Salesman? I said, nope, no idea, don't care.
Yes. Biff is Willie Loman's son who tracked him down and found out that his dad, while he was on the road, was always having affairs, and it broke his heart because here was this guy he looked up to, who's a salesman whose time has passed him by. He's basically, I forget what he's selling, but he's selling, horse and buggy whips going door to door.
Sure.
After the Model A has been in everybody's driveway type thing. So it's a man who's out of time. His mother is home, like the post World War II or post Depression, making every scrap of yarn go an extra mile, while his father is chatting up the secretary where he's going to do sales and giving her nice stockings, and that would be Biff. And there is the cliff notes of
Death of a Salesman.
Of Death of a Salesman.
Yeah. Oh, the other Biff is Biff Henderson from the David Letterman show.
Which,
I don't know if you remember.
Oh, dude, Biff Henderson it's Chris Elliott, it's Biff Henderson, it's the guy at the deli. There's a handful.
Deli guy.
There's a handful of people who really made that show what it was, and Letterman's the first to say, it's like, Paul Schaefer, and say the chemistry and all that. But Biff, this was fantastic. Hopefully it's not 2+ months before we chat next. Any parting thoughts, any parenting tips?
No, I have a grown child. It's all on him now.
You got any grandparenting tips?
Oh, I do. Don't burp at the table at Grandpa's house. Grandpa does not like the burping at the table at the Grandpa's house. So there you go.
Where does Grandpa weigh in on farting?
Farting. At least he doesn't fart at the table. Oh my God, yeah.
Okay, well, when you take all those factors into the equation, you really it's most important that you don't forget